have Adobe Portfolio. It's great for personal branding and job applications. Right now, we're going to be showcasing your brand today, and we have our in-house expert, our professor/advisor, Ryan McPherson. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of how to kind of get this started, and we're going to have some student questions. I just wanted to say, if you can look at Adobe Portfolio as a tool for creating your professional online portfolios, it's free to UTSA students, and it serves kind of like as a visual resume, and it's about showing instead of just telling. Because there are a lot of people who will say, oh yeah, I can do that, and their work is terrible, or they've never touched the program before. And so it really kind of gives an advantage to us because we're asked to do a lot of these things in our classes, and we can show that. So the key features are we can use templates, so you don't have to do this from scratch. I'll show you here on the left side of the screen, there's themes. And when you're first starting, you can pick one. And they have a lot to choose from, and I'm actually using this one, and you can tell it does not look anything at all like what I've chosen. So it's really easy to just kind of pick one, but then change just about everything. I actually had done some UX design on my portfolio, and I coded it in Dreamweaver. And I actually thought, this is ridiculous to have to update because I'm earning certifications left and right. And I thought, I'm just going to do it on Portfolio. And it is so much easier and quicker to just update it really quick, throw something in there. So my homepage is starting with my photo and what I do, the main thing. So it kind of goes into just a little bit about, and this is where the professor can jump in. In his class, he's taught us like who you are, what you do, what you go for. And then there's links to case studies and different types of things that I'm into. So that's just your basic, and then terms of service, which is just your legal. I just stuck that at the bottom. It's its whole other page.
And what problem you solve, right?
Yes, what problem you solve. I was missing something in there. So I specialize in, my professional ethos is, I excel at, my approach is, I partner with clients, I excel in devising, connect with me. The call to action at the end is really important. So I guess that's the main thing, is you're just kind of showing who you are and what you're about, and you need to have really strong writing initially, because if they don't like this part right here, they will not go any further. And that's one thing that I've learned. A recruiter does not want to waste their time because they have hundreds of people to go through. So it needs to be visually appealing. This right here, I just did a short little hero image. You can do that in Express or Photoshop or anything, and you can stick it right in there. This, you can add a caption if you want to. You can do width and alignment, change it. You can just move everything by putting that's a border below that image. So you can do that, or you can click here and add width, alignment, and margins and go above to do the same thing and kind of create like padding all the way around your words. You add text the same exact way. Anything by just clicking that little, it'll appear in between everything. And you can click that little plus sign and you get all of this stuff in there, and you can even embed video from YouTube. You can add buttons, audio, anything. So it's really customizable. This little button here, I stuck in there, and it changes color on rollover. You just edit the button right there, and you can choose everything from your font, your height, the size of weight, all the way around the words, how big it is, the button itself. And you can specify the color and the opacity and the hover color. And that's really more professional when people can see that they're activating it somehow. It seems more like a button. So that kind of has the same thing that you would code in like Dreamweaver or do with like UX, which is really impressive. So to get started, you really just need to log in with your student profile. And you get to that, you choose your template, you choose your layouts, your fonts, your colors. You can do that in settings. You can choose your main text. So I'll highlight it to show you. And then so I have like subheader, header, all of that specified. So you don't have to do it each and every time. You can get one look so it's cohesive on all your pages. If you want something centered or not, it's all ready to go. And then if you just need a link, you can highlight it and pop that right in. In addition to your welcome page, I think the next biggest important thing is going to the about page. where you're really going to, and I have education separate with all my certifications. But you kind of just want to really talk about yourself, and that's where you get your branding in and you can explain things and show your work here also, because you don't know if somebody's just going to go on one page or 2 pages and move on. You can throw your resume in there. You really just want to showcase your writing. And I've been doing some PRSSA meetings, and they have been encouraging people not to just use AI, but actually show your writing and your writing skills. And even though a lot of the Gen Zers are wanting to just read bullet points and not read a whole lot, the people who hire you are older and they're still reading. So apparently the message that I'm getting is they do want to see how you interact and write and sell yourself and really brand yourself. And so here I just have proof of a bunch of skill sets that, yes, I've done this. I've done all these things. It's not just words. And I think that's really the big thing, because there's so many fakers in the world. But you can showcase your work even here. Like, this was Excel work from a social science research study that I did. And so I just took that image and I plugged it in as a mock-up. So it is my real image. It's not a stock image, but I plugged it into a stock mock-up of a computer just to make it look a lot more interesting than if I just had a screenshot. But that is a screenshot of my work. So literally everything on here is my work, including the banner that I did. These are things that I did for classes. But even that is my work. So the only thing that isn't is like this university seal and the official seals from like the organizations. But like that, I did. That's my design. So you want to share your best projects. So don't feel like you have to put too many. If they're really not great, if you don't feel great about them, definitely do not put those in. It's better to have less is more. But you want to start organizing these things into project categories, because I do a bunch of different things. I've separated them. Say I graduate and I just really want to do user experience design. They can come in here and see all this stuff. And if I want to, I can go up to this top left and put pages. And if I want to go down here and bloop, hide it, public relations is no longer seen. And even though I really do believe that each thing helps each other, and see right there, it's published again. So you can really just showcase what you want. If you only want certain jobs that you're going for, you can just you don't have to get rid of it. Just hide it. But if you think they really play well together, that one benefits the other, then do leave them up. That doesn't mean the recruiter's going to look at everything. So you'll also have the integration of these things are really fantastic, because what Adobe Portfolio does, which is so amazing, is that it can integrate with Behance and Lightroom. So all of these right here are projects that I can also turn off and turn right back on. So to go to that, all of these show up here, and it's really amazing because I didn't put these up here. They are coming straight from my Behance page, which I can show you. I upload them here, stick these in, and kind of upload this project in Behance, which is being stubborn right now. But then it automatically uploads, so you don't have to do your work twice. And there are some recruiters who are going to look for you on Behance, and there's some that might never get to your portfolio, but also there's links to it. So if they want to check out your other work, so I have all of these other sites that they can check out with other writing and things. And I have all of these little projects. So, they highlight when you roll over them. So you can also sell yourself in the side point. So it just kind of benefits that. So this integrates automatically so that when you click on this stuff, it has its own subpage that isn't in the top navigation, and that you can just put whatever you want in here and showcase your projects in depth. And while you're doing that, you really want to kind of go over, if it's a project like more UX design, that's more a writing sample and a podcasting sample. But say you're doing a UX thing and you want to show, I don't have the full thing in here, but you're going to want to go into, and that's where embedding is really cool too. Show the challenges you faced. Don't be like, oh, it was perfect and I'm so great. They want to see you overcoming and learning through your process, continually learning and striving and getting better. So you want to be honest and upfront and authentic about those challenges. And then you want to describe your creative process and you want to show the results you achieved and iterations like before and after and research. And we're going to go over some of that stuff with the UX in a upcoming workshop. And I can go over that in deep depth, but I don't really have as much up here. And I'm hoping to add that because I have like a 50-something page slideshow, which somebody doesn't have to go through the whole thing. But if they want to, I can show that I am capable of doing each and every page as multiple steps. Like one page may be a portion of a research study. So it's extensive. One page may be the entire prototyping process. And I can show that I fully understand each and every step of that. So if a recruiter just wants to go and flip through it real quick, that's fine. And if they really are serious and I'm narrowed down to a few candidates, they can really look at it and go, she really knows what she's doing. She's not bluffing us. She didn't just have like AI make a pretty UI design, pretty user interface. She really did all the background work. She planned the studies. She conducted the studies. Look at that. So having that on a portfolio would really put me above another candidate that did not have that. So you just really want to be upfront with your process. So other thing is that you can do is integrations here. This top left is where you put in the pants, or you can do Adobe Lightroom and you can add a whole album. It'll automatically integrate in the same way. So if you're into photography and you have all of those in Lightroom, they will just automatically update and you can put a projects or a photos page or a photo album or whatever you want to entitle it, and it'll automatically populate, which is really cool. And if you're into drawing illustrations, Adobe Stock will do the same thing and you can actually make money on what you put in. So if you're into photography, also Adobe Stock. That is really something to think about, and it's all automatic. So it is so much less work for you. You really do want to have a contact page, and something I learned in the class, I had just put send me an auspicious message basically. But the professor was telling me about needing to have some kind of message, and I agree. It does really make it better. It humanizes you because they're really just looking at a computer, and you really want to encourage that contact. And you absolutely want to have this and make it easy for them to not just have to dig up your email. You want to make it super easy for a recruiter or a client to just click and send you that. And it doesn't hurt to throw in a little more, connect on LinkedIn, throw a little more imagery if that's what you do. If you do photography, throw that in. Professor, do you have anything to say about that little message?
No, I like it. The important thing is that people need to be told what to do. And that may sound like, oh, wait, is that too direct? But they really do need it in like big, bold letters. This is what you need to do to take action to work with me. This is how you work with me, and this is what you need to do to be able to work with me. Both are important.
That is awesome. That call to action is something that I'm really learning, to not just assume people know what you're doing. So here are also some mock-ups. Instead of just doing big squares of things, start thinking about plugging them into mock-ups. And you can do that even in Express or any of the other programs we have. Just kind of start showcasing some of your work. Here's PR. I know we have several PR members. They really want to see some writing samples. So I have that, and then in video form, that's more of a running slideshow. And then I have other case studies of crisis communication, other articles that I've written. There's buttons everywhere. Like, come look at this, and just keep people, again, a button is like a physical call to action, and it's like, it begs to be touched, just to keep people going. Like, this isn't the end of it. There's more. And if you do a hobby, throw that in there. Show you're human, that you have interests aside from your work, that you're talented. And like with UX, drawing is really a skill. If you can storyboard, if you can draw, that's really important. So it's not just some other random thing. The same thing with photography. It's a really useful skill in a lot of things like PR. Being able to photograph and show video work, so all the things we're doing with content creators is really kind of important to be able to share that with future recruiters or even a client. And that might be the difference, that like it's you over somebody else. So in the professor's class, his AI and branding, I'm doing a little bit of that. So you can stick in any extra pages, and I've just added these. And we'll take a podcasting class. That's also something that I'm finding in PR work is really important, is to have that skill. So even if you just have one or two, maybe think about showcasing that. The next major thing we need to go over is settings. Right now, you can get this for free, and it'll just say myportfolio.com. Or you can purchase a domain and connect one, and you can have it say whatever you want. And a lot of people are really encouraging that. I have not done this on this yet because I'm spending money on other things right now. But that is something that I will be looking at. I do have another website outstanding, my lifestyle website. But you come in here and you set your page not found. So I have it just setting to projects. So at least it'll be something besides 404. It'll take them somewhere interesting so you don't lose your audience. You can go to Google Analytics, you can put in your tracking code, and you can see who's visiting your site, how long they're staying. You can track all of that and learn how to make it better. And that's probably a whole other workshop, along with search optimization. Custom meta tags, you can actually plug that into AI and ask it to give you a really good meta tag. And that'll just plug in the information for search engines where no human sees it, but AI and the search engines, they'll see it. The favicon, that's that little doohickey right up here. So it looks a lot more professional. You can just set your images for that. The same thing as if somebody decides to save it as an icon on their phone. You set that, it's a lot more professional. You can put an image in for social sharing. When you send someone a link, it'll pop up. You can dictate what pops up instead of what randomly would. You have other options. You can protect your images by disabling right clicks so people don't take it. They can still screenshot it, but it won't be as clear as if they're right clicking. So if you want it to be private, you can password protect it for only certain people can look at it. Because I've gone really fast on stuff, but I just wanted to give everybody a really good demo and an overview of it. And I'm a little hoarse, obviously. I'm my throat sore right now. And this little thing right here, you need to put in a logo, and that will automatically take you, because everybody kind of knows that will take you back to home. So you have your welcome or your home or whatever you want to label it, but you also have your personal logo. So you need to think about branding yourself with that, and you can do that really easily in Express. And so there's also this little guy here, and I've changed the color, and I did it the same as the buttons. So it gets attention because it starts out in gray, and you have it back to top. And you can set that or get rid of it. You can decide what you want to do there. Put my social icons at the bottom. You can put them at the top and then the navigation, anywhere. And you can even put them in a button somewhere. But you can take people where you want them to go. You want to make it easy to find you. And there's that email too if they don't want to use the contact form. So you can set that to go directly to your email. So when they use their email account, it'll be plugged in with your address. Okay, so now questions.
And your ideal target audience for this is?
Well, I feel like I need to do some freelance work to get some more things on my portfolio. So it's for clients and also for future employer, because I've done freelance for so many years, but I'm getting more educated in a different direction. So instead of a lot of art commissions, I'm really trying to build up this portfolio in other directions. So it's kind of both. And I know in your classes, you're like, you have to pick one. But realistically, I'm being looked at by different people. And actually, I was offered a job recently that I didn't ask for because somebody saw my LinkedIn and my portfolio is attached, which was really nice, really flattering, because I didn't even know it was a job that was available. So that is the reward of presenting yourself and what you do authentically. And people might hate it. They might go, oh my gosh, look at that crazy color. And somebody else will come and look at it and go, that's just what we want. So I guess that's really what I'm trying to do, is just put myself out there. And if not everybody likes it, that's totally fine. So my audience, I have it written to clients because right now that's more what I'm doing. But eventually I would like that steady income and health benefits that comes with working for a company. So I may let this evolve and change the language over time. So after graduation, there may be a new change in this. Does that make sense?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's good to have a plan. And the way that you were showing us how to turn on and off and hide things, I think is especially important for someone who is pursuing different opportunities and seeing which opportunity might fit the best or pay the best or work the best for their specific life circumstances. So it's great that we have that opportunity here too.
I know there was a bunch of questions that I'm sure I probably covered some of them by accident. Does anyone want to speak up now?
When you were talking about how you can, how do I word this? Link your own domain.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, right, if we do have our own domain already, like we pay for it yearly or whatever it may be, we do have to like purchase it on here and then be able to, right? Like an extra.
You don't have to purchase it on here. You can purchase it through anybody and then just connect it. That right button here. Yeah, so you can find anything from anywhere, and there'll be different prices depending on the whatever. And if somebody may have taken them, yeah. So you can just shop around and see. But no, definitely not limited.
I just wanted to make sure, because some places will be like, oh, you have to pay on our side too. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about Adobe is how flexible they are.
Right.
That and the integration. So that custom domain is something that I really has been encouraged by a lot of the people in all these workshops and webinars that I've been taking. But again, I'm waiting. But I think the big thing is you can do all your search engine and all that stuff now and get that really going so that by the time you graduate, all your ducks are in a row. And start sharing your portfolio links. What's really cool is on LinkedIn is you can set it. You guys can see it's right under there. You can set it to go there, and it's the first thing you see. If somebody doesn't remember your link, it's right there. You can also put it in featured and choose a little thumbnail to go with that. Put your Behance in there, and everything can link back. Really try to integrate that with your projects and incorporate that in here too in LinkedIn. And because this is, again, it will be like your shorter version, but everything in here you can really expand upon. Like here you may only have like an image that goes in your projects, but you can have a full page on it in your portfolio, and you can link to it from here. So like that's a link to the portfolio page. So that's really useful. It expands this and makes LinkedIn a much more valuable tool also. Any more questions?
Yeah, I think that was one of my questions with portfolio. Like, where exactly would this, like, once you've completed it and finished your page, where would this document live? Would it just live in just kind of like how you showed in LinkedIn, those little bio areas, or what?
Yeah,
That's great.
That's a really good question. So it has its own life on the internet, and you can take this and put it everywhere. You can put a QR code on your business card. You can put it on a link or a QR code, depending if it's a paper resume, if you go to like an in-person job fair, or you can put it on to link to your digital resume that gets sent in. So it expands that resume. So you feel like you can't put anything on it. It's really an expansion of that. So it's your LinkedIn. You can put links to it on your social media. YouTube will give you a whole dozen slots that you can tie things in. Make your portfolio one of them. Always tie back to that because you want that cross promotion. And that's something like with public relations. You just want to make it super easy for people to find you. And like the professor was saying about telling people what to do, that call to action needs to be really strong. So you can do any manner of, and I think like with your business, with what you do, that would be really good because you can put videos on here and you can show exactly what you do. You can do demos, you can show some of the work you've done, and that would be really valuable instead of you just saying, oh yeah, I do this and this, and having to give a short spiel. Like it's right there visually and people can just really get into it, and it'll save you a lot of time because the right clients will connect with you. And I think that's really the big thing. It's not just a fit one way where the company or the client is happy with you. You have to also be happy with them so you're not miserable, and just really finding your good fit and your good match and not wasting your time and them wanting something that's really not at all what you're into or what you're good at. Just finding a match both ways. So it's kind of a good working relationship because you really want to collaborate. No matter who's getting paid, it's going to be a collaboration. And I think this is just one tool to get closer to that, to showing who you really are. So I think that's an important thing to just remember to keep it updated. And that's what's so great about Adobe Portfolio is that you can instantly just go into here and add stuff really quickly and change it. You can change your photos and there's no coding. So yeah, I'm capable of doing Dreamweaver, but for all of the things I have to add, this is just so much easier. So I can be on it and go, oh, I earned another certification. I'm just going to add it real quick. And it's just super easy. And I think that's really the big thing. You do want to kind of have a terms of service and privacy policy. And I added a little thing. There's protected by Copyscape. And you can find that. You can like do a search for it and stick that in there to try to kind of warn people about like protecting your image and your stuff, not to steal your stuff. And you can ask AI to help you with this, or you can do searches for what's a good terms of service and then really personalize it for yourself. So, talking about whether to use cookies or collect data or compensation, if you're getting paid for stuff, you need to write that on there. And again, use that as a place to showcase some of your work. If you do some graphics, throw that in there too. Every page in here should be an opportunity to showcase what you can do, because you never know what somebody's going to jump onto. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it's cool to see like the integrations and having it connect to like what is it, Adobe Lightroom and stuff like that. I mean, that's super cool. It just takes one last step from uploading somewhere else to, you know what I mean, when it's automatically going into your portfolio and stuff like that. So that's cool.
Exactly. That's why I love it so much. It's just anything you can do to save time. And when you're all done with this, you can work on it for like a month if you want to. It doesn't matter. You can preview it without having just this green button, update live site. That will launch it and make it go live. And if you make any changes and you want it to go live, I'll show you, it doesn't take very long just to update it. And I'll update all your pages, and by the time that little blue line gets there, then you're officially live. So it's not any trouble. It's super easy. And you just have to do that whenever you make any changes. So you can view your site and it'll come up in another page, or go back to the editor and do some more. And if you want to go off of this, you just hit Manage Sites and you exit this program to leave this whole section. So I probably should cover navigation. That is set universally. You can manage the pages, which also you do there, but you can set the whole container the same way as you did the buttons, with the color of the text and the whole background, how thick you want it, with margins, everything. You do that with the whole container in the background. You can make this color. It doesn't have to be white. I just use so much color that I tend to go more stark, because it would just be too much if I just had it solid color. And you can change your theme too. If you change your mind, just go right back to theme. It doesn't matter. You are not stuck. You can also put things side by side. If you hover near something, there's these buttons. If you want to put an image to the left or to the right, there you go. If you want to put a caption, boom, and that opens that up. And again, you can preset what those are on this left-hand panel. You have global styles, and it'll set everything according to how you want to customize it. And if you change your mind, you don't have to start all over. Just replace the image, and you don't have to set the whole container, everything. And change the sizes, boom, on the left. Max width will limit how wide it goes. Or you cannot set it and be at 0, and it can go as wide as the whole screen. So again, you have a lot of freedom here, which I think is the only reason I like it, because if I couldn't customize it, I would not be happy. So I'm not using the template as it was given to me at all. It was just a way for me to get into the program and change everything. And you can do that too. And if you want to go with a template at first and then later change it, that's up to you. I think the big thing is just showing off that creativity, because that's one of the most valued skills. It's communication, collaboration, creativity. Just show what you're made of. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This has been like super insightful, but as someone that like currently I don't have a portfolio at all, do you have any tips on like just getting started? And I was sort of wondering like how much time you've invested into this, because it's so cohesive and thorough and just like full of different aspects that all like work together, and it's just a little bit intimidating to kind of like start to think about where I would even begin.
Oh, wow. No, thank you for saying that. That is incredibly sweet. But please don't be intimidating, because you don't have to to go live right away. And I couldn't possibly even guess how long I spent on it, because I may be on here for 5 minutes or 10 minutes at a time, just adding one thing at a time as I earn a certification and I'll put it up. And that's what's so great about it, is it doesn't take a whole lot of time to just do a little bit. And so I think if you can set a little bit every day, and if you have like 15 minutes a day to add one thing, that would be a really good way to get you started. And think about your coursework as material. Like every project you do is an opportunity. And again, don't put everything that if you don't think it was great. But if you get like effusive commentary saying how great it was and you got a perfect score on it, definitely put it up. I did have one professor in PR, she's like, this needs to go on your portfolio. And I didn't even have a portfolio yet. And she's like, this needs to go on your portfolio. And so I was like, okay. So I was just trying to think, how could I do that? Because there was a lot of different writing and different things. And so that's how I came up with this media kit thing and made this video. And I did that in Express. And we've done some tutorials on that. So it's super easy. And other things I've done in Premiere Pro. But this one, it started out as a slideshow that actually turned in as a project. And see, I have that to where it clicks on it and it becomes its own page. And it's set in YouTube, but for cross promotion. But then it also plays here, and I have the sound off. But I added sound to it also. So it just kind of plays in and it shows different things. But these are things I had to turn in. So this is work that I did for a project. I know you're in PR. Show those press releases, show your fact sheets, show the work you do. If you do an integrated communications campaign, put that in there. Do marketing campaign, put it in there. And then you can show them as big slides too. You can put in descriptions, write about your journey separately. Really make it whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be big or fancy. If you're not into video, you don't have to do video. If you even just want to do a voice recording, you can stick that on there and just talk about it. Like you're doing a pitch, put an example of a pitch in there. To really get started, I would just immediately go with your homepage. See, I have pages up here. You need a homepage, and I would go with maybe calling it welcome or something friendly, and you need a contact page. Then I would go with an about, and you don't have to publish them. You can work with them offline, just have them unpublished like that, and it'll immediately adjust in your navigation. But just slowly add like one thing at a time. It doesn't have to be this whole thing all at once. Because if you just have like 1 or 2 pages up, you can just have a homepage. Just one homepage saying who you are, what you do. That would be the place to start, is that initial statement. And if you don't have anything else, you can say, like, tell them the site's under construction, that you're working on this. Sorry, my throat is so scratchy today. But put your picture up, put your name, put your title, say what you do, kind of what you would put on LinkedIn. That is one of the things I have on LinkedIn, and I just have it split up with kind of job description above there. So I'm sure the professor can tie in. We were talking about it earlier. I think the statement about like who you are and what you do and who you're for, that's really important. So if you just have that up and then you have like a button for contact, and do a contact page.
Leigh, something just occurred to me. So right there, the about Leigh, like go back up where you have all that text. Like for a job in PR that's writing intensive, having text like that is a fantastic idea. Like that right there, yeah. Where you have like the 3 dense paragraphs. But if you're looking for a job in, I don't know, let's say like advertising or something, you definitely would want to break up that text so that you have visual bullet points and things in there. And this is something that I certainly have done before too. And I found that whenever I added bullet points and I simplified the text and the language, I had more stickiness to the page, if that makes sense.
That's wonderful advice.
It depends on your goals though. You know, for PR people, they are all writers. You know what I mean?
That is a really, really good point. Yeah, and then your age group too. I think that's a lot of it. It's know your audience, absolutely. And yeah, for UX, there's going to be a lot more physical showing of things. And that's where I'm going to put a lot more in there. I don't even have a fraction of what I've done up here. Like I was talking about the 50 some odd page, almost 60 slides. But that's what they're going to really want, is seeing the process. So this proof is in the pudding. Like, this is one step, that's one slide. It's that whole Excel sheet, and that is a whole competitive audit right there. So this whole thing is a wireframe. And so showing that with each case study, you're putting a slideshow in, and it's knowing your audience. Or if you want to be hired by somebody to do UX, you've got to show all of that. But that's very different than the PR, where you're showing like writing samples of media. But like here, that is a prototype. So you're also going to want to link to an active prototype where they can play through it and actually use it like they would an actual app. So not just a static picture with it all laid out, which is important, but you also want to be able to click on things and show how it works. And that's where having a video of how it works also. So you're kind of basically doing advertising like a little commercial. You're marketing your app, even though it's a prototype. And like that is a research plan for just one of these ability studies, just showcasing that you fully understand the process. And those are commercials for it that I made.